Hi everyone. This is Ebony Speaks, and I was going live a while ago, but my go live wouldn't let me be great. So I'm just going to pre-record what I have to say because this is a very important topic, and I would like for it to get out because people need to be aware of the mental illnesses and the stigma on mental illnesses. And first off, I want to let everyone know that mental illness, it is real. It is overwhelming if you do have it. It's challenging and it can be scary. And people have this stigma on mental illnesses because of the lack of knowledge that they have on the actual illness itself. You have people being judged because they have this mental illness. So then you have the ones who have mental illness. Now they have this fear of wanting to speak on this mental illness or even wanting to talk about the mental illness. And then we have people who actually have the stigma on the mental illness. They have put individuals into a box and they discriminate against people who have mental illnesses. They are quick to think that someone's going to be violent or, kind of, I say, be crazy because they have a mental illness when someone with mental illness is walking around just like you and I. And mental illnesses, again, they're it's very important to educate yourself on a mental illness before you go out and judge mental illnesses. By having this stigma on mental illness, there are now effects that individuals have because there is this stigma about the mental illness. One of the effects that individual might have is that, again, that person is afraid to seek help or to seek treatment. And that's the last thing that we want someone with mental illness to do, because we want that person to seek help and to seek some sort of treatment. One of the effects with the stigma is the lack of knowledge that a family member might have, the lack of knowledge that your coworker might have, or if you're in school, the lack of knowledge that your friend might have, or your teachers or someone like that, or your pastor or someone like that, the lack of knowledge that they actually have. And then not even that, the stigma, one of the effects of the stigma is that it's hard for people to find jobs because we have such a strong stigma on, if you're crazy, I might say. You have this mental illness, so you can't do this particular job, or because you have this mental illness, you can't. We can't house you somewhere. Yes, that's true. The stigma on mental illnesses has affected people who are out trying to get housing, and that's so sad because I have a mental illness, so I can't live in this neighborhood, or it's hard for me to find housing, and I have children. So just think about that. That's all because of a stigma that someone has put out there, or that we as people, we have put out there about mental illnesses. Then we come to bullying. The physical and emotional roller coaster that people go on because of their mental illnesses. Then it's sad to say that we have health insurance who they don't have the tools in order to treat mental illnesses the way that a mental illness needs to be treated. And then you have these challenges, everyday challenge that someone with mental illness go through because of the stigma. They have this stigma in the back of their head, I'm not going to succeed. Society has already deemed me as not successful because I have a mental illness. So they have to deal with these challenges on a daily basis. So, with all this being said, again, mental illness, it is so real. And if you have a loved one out there, or if you yourself has a mental illness, you need to get help. And what I want to show you guys is that there are a couple steps into getting help. The first step is actually getting treatment. It's so many things out there that will help you out. And don't feel ashamed because you're needing help. Every one of us, some point in our life, some point in time, has needed help. So don't feel ashamed because you are trying to get some sort of treatment. Don't let stigma create self-doubt. Stigma don't only just come from others. Stigma comes from ourselves. So don't have any self-doubt. Don't think that because you have this mental illness that, it's a sign of weakness. It's actually a sign of strength once you go out and you seek help. Don't isolate yourself. I know sometimes with people with mental illnesses, they are, again, ashamed to let anyone know about it. So they start to isolate themselves. But whatever don't isolate yourself. You are not your illness. So don't isolate yourself. That leads me to the next one. Don't equate yourself with your illness because you are not your illness. So if you are bipolar, you don't say that I am bipolar. You say I have bipolar because you do not define your illness. So don't equate yourself with your illness. Join a support group. There is nothing like the medicine of speaking out. You have a support group. A support group will keep you on your toes. There's someone there to always talk with. So it's very important to join a support group. Last but not least, speak out against stigma. Speak out. Let everyone know that you yourself is not defined by your illness. You are you, and your illness is your illness. So speak out about the stigma. Let everyone know what a mental health or mental illness that you have and bring awareness to it. And I am